Hello everybody, Carl and Erynn here, and we're going to do the guitar backup for the Wimbush Rag from Gus and Theo Clark, a couple of farmers from Georgia, and they lived in Barrow County, and I used to drive through Barrow County a lot, going down to Georgia, and I always thought about a couple of tunes they recorded, one of them being this tune, in the key of D.
Back in 1929.
Yeah, and on the old recording, the guitar was capoed on the second fret, I believe, and instead of playing A chords, playing out of G and C position. So C position you'd call it. So our D chord is a C shape there. So we're going to do kind of the conventional chords. It kind of seems to fit the melody, and then I'll explore a little bit of the way the recording was kind of crazy, the guitar part, and a lot of people will agree with me, I think, but neat in a way. So we'll explore that too, and then we'll come in somewhere in the middle in the long run. So the Wimbush Rag, and we'll give it a go. That's nice. Great tune, great fiddle tune. And let's go ahead and we'll try a little different backup here. And one thing that's very different, instead of starting on the 5 chord or the G shape, the A chord, starts on the 1 chord and goes a little longer. And so that's going to sound a little strident right off the bat. But we'll just explore it here, and I'll try to simulate a little bit of the way the first pass was on the old recording.
Yeah, and especially when it goes in the B part, it's not for the faint of heart, but it's funky.
It's interesting. Yeah,
it's interesting to see what they did.
It could grow on you, because the brain can talk you into anything, so be careful.
It might sound wrong at first, but they're so creative, some of those early guitar players.
Oh, yeah. That's a ride, all right. Now, right through Barrow County, I guess. So thanks, Erynn.
Thank you.
Great fiddling. And we'll go back to the conventional chords here, shall we? For a minute. So again, we're thinking about the key of D. And just notice one thing that on the recording you'll notice too is, instead of just playing a G shape, which sounds perfectly good, he wanted a bluesy chord, so he plays a G7 instead of the G most often. And also another thing that I just noticed, his main bass on that chord is the 6th string and the 4th string a lot. So you don't really have to match that 5th string. If you don't want to, you can, but if you don't, it's good to be able to kind of just use the selective string sometimes. So that's a good exercise. Pick it with the 5th string open, and just don't pick that 5th string. So it's good on your right hand, right? So that's going to be our starting chord. It's going to go back and forth from there to our C position with 5 and 4 as a bass. Okay, so the first part's pretty easy going. You can do a little walk if you can time it with the fiddler, but it's going to be, so the G shape, 6 and 4, da da da, and the C, 5 and 4, G7, C. Does that several times. Da 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 da. And you could walk. That one more time, and remember, you can throw that walk in there every other time, or you can it's nice to sprinkle a few walks in there, and some of those old guitar players would walk almost the whole time. They hardly got a strum in there, so I don't think you want to go that far, although that's a style and can be very exciting. So you just kind of let your style develop in between all the different approaches. So starting out to that G7, 6 and 4, and C, 5 and 4. Maybe walk a second time. Ba, 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 ba. You do it again. C shape, G7, and maybe it'll walk again. Then it goes right to the F chord with the 4 4th string. You could walk on up, but let's just go to the F4 and 3 and C. 5/4, F again, and then you got a G chord or G7 to the C. So from that you could do a walk. Let's see where our walk might fit. F to C. You might try a little rhythm. That's kind of a rhythm he likes to use. So I'm doing a little 3rd string, 4th string, and 5th string, 2nd fret. So that's kind of a G chord. Getting back to C. Okay, so the second part, F, and we'll try that little walk. F again, and you can do a low bass. It does it one more time, and on the last time, what I was doing is trying that low F, like a bar. But if you don't want to put a whole bar across, you could. A lot of times I'll just use the bass string, 1st finger on the low bass, and get a nice 3 and 3 with my little finger and 3rd finger. Get that just a kind of a rock and roll sound almost. So kind of walk up. And the rhythm they use, you could do something like this, which he uses in the little wilder version. So try this little G chord, and you're picking 6, and I'm doing down, up, down, and a C chord. So that low F, you could, and you're going to be back to the first part. So let's try the whole second part. Starting on the F, we could walk on the F if you kept going from the C. F, then that G to a C. F again. You could even do a slow walk. And the low F. First part. Maybe walk. So that's pretty cool. We'll go and look at the little more non-conventional, kind of the first pass through one time, which starts out, first of all, surprised me because it starts on the D chord. You got the phrase da-dee-da, which is kind of featuring that A note. But he starts on a D chord, which has an A in it, but it just sounds, once you do it the way we just did it, it sounds funny. So he stays on this C shape. Then he goes to the G7, and starts switching. So that's pretty cool, actually. That could be usable, really. So let's try that again. That doesn't sound too far out till we go to the second part. So I'm gonna do that one more time, starting with the C shape. 1, 2, 3, go. Stay there. Da 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 da. G7 shape. Da da da, and switch to ba 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 ba. Da 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 ba da 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 ba da da da. Now here it's going to go to the F chord with a walk, which kind of you want to go right to the F really, but he does a walk. And the 5th string. So let's just try that a few times. F chord, 4th string strum, and the 5th string open bass. Okay? And then you're going to have the G7, 6 and 4, and the low bass again. But then he has a really unusual walk. You have the 6th string open, 2nd fret, 5th. So it's almost like an E minor 7 or a bluesy to the C. So let me just do that. Crazy? That's the C. So let's do that one more time. Up to F, 5th string open, okay. The G7 low bass and 4th string, the low bass and a strum, and right into that. Then you have just that 4th string. Then he goes to a lot of G7, 4th string twice with the strums, low bass, 6 and 4, low bass again, 6 and 4. Then it has a walk again. This time more just right out of G chord. Same rhythm to the C. That's 5 and 4. Then you have G7 one more time, 4, 4, and a bass walk. Then you're starting over. So I'll do that whole second part and then one more time through the whole kind of less conventional. So here's the second part. So here's the whole non-conventional, and then I'll wind up with the regular one last time to get you back in the first ballpark. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Second part. Back to square one and kind of the more conventional chords, but you can come in between there somewhere and get some of those rhythm ideas, and I love that. Or even, so we're copying that rhythm. You can just get that rhythm and kind of throw it in there. You don't want to do it all the time, but mix and match is the rule of thumb, I think, or plectrums. So here we go, one last time through the backup for Wimbush Rag, key of D, and we're capo 2 and playing out of the C position. And I'm going to go back to the starting on the 5 chord. So 1, 2, 3, G7. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, go. Then we waltz. Back and forth. Waltz. And right to the F. C and F again. G. F. Wimbush Rag. I think that's a great tune, a lot of fun to play, and really has a nice rhythmic thing in there. And you could, of course, transfer that to some other tunes that might come in handy. But one of the choices you have to make right away when you do a tune in D, of course, and there's different sounds, is playing out of the open position, playing D, and your open A with the low bass, E bass, or the capoed sound. In this case, he really liked that. I think he just liked that G7 and the way it sounded with the capo, and just of course the C sound. So you be the judge. Try it both ways, and they're both good. And play your guitars a bunch, and check out some of the other music from Georgia. There, a lot of great old string band music from the 20s. So thanks a bunch.